We're still here on TV3 New Day, but you know this menace about Tramadol is on the ascendancy and it is a real problem in Ghana. We're going to be talking about it, delving into the issues and how to deal with it. I'll be speaking to Dr. Eugene Dodoi. He's a member of the Mental Health Authority and he's also the head of Anchorful Psychiatric Hospital. Good morning, Dr. Dodoi. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine.
So, Dr. Dodoi, there are these worrying videos of young men who are abusing this illicit drug, Tramadol. I mean, what for you as a mental health authority is the real challenge? What is the problem and how do we solve it moving forward?
The biggest problem we have is one, to define the problem.
Right.
We don't know which people, where, I mean, the ages, what we call epidemiology.
Right.
So, as a country, what Mental Health Authority is leading us to say is that let's have a national observatory where we'll know exactly, just like we have for TB and HIV, that we know which people, which regions, which sectors, which districts are most affected.
Okay.
Then we can have a national approach. The next challenge we have is the law for Narcotic Control Board.
Right.
Narcotic Control Board is the only agency in the country that has a mandate to check both what we call supply reduction and demand reduction. That is the two sides of the equation, that if drugs are of abuse, if we help people not to demand for it, most likely the people who sell or traffic will not be in business. So, but we also want to arrest those who supply.
Right.
So we have the two sides of the equation. So what the law for Narcotic Control Board had been is that they kind of control illicit drugs which are abused. Okay. But the disease addiction, unfortunately, has moved on from illicit drugs like marijuana, cocaine, and heroin. Now they're abusing the illicit ones. Tramadol, codeine, and this old drug called APC. That is aspirin, paracetamol, and codeine. So codeine is there, and Tramadol and codeine are the same. They both belong to the class of drug called opiate. They are painkillers. Yeah. But people are using their side effects, like delay of sexual orgasm, the insomnia it will cause, and the high it will give you. So they get to use it for those side effects. Unfortunately, for drugs of abuse, when the more you use, the less the effects you feel. So you need more or higher doses to feel the same effect, unfortunately. So that is what the young people are going to. And when they get addiction, it's been shown that people start using drugs of abuse, whether alcohol, marijuana, tramadol, by age 15. They'll start by age 15. 1 in 4 of them will get the disease addiction. This means that these people will not be able to hold any sustainable job. They become counterproductive. They come and steal from you and I, who are working, but they need money to buy drugs and store the drugs. So currently, there is a law before Parliament on Narcotic Control Board to change their status and to amend some of the laws. And what we are saying is that they should not be made to only control the illicit ones, because now the disease has moved on to the licit ones. Even loperamide, what most people call Imodium, in the US it's still being abused because it's also, similar in the same class for, it's also an opiate, but it only works in the GI, in the intestinal system. So people are finding other ways of abusing the illicit ones. So what we are saying, that let's push these illicit ones into the remit of Narcotic Control Board, so that they also control the people who traffic these ones. So we are not looking at those who are bringing it for therapeutic purposes, or those who are coming to use it to treat pain. That is not what we are looking at. We are looking at the people who are going to make money, because our young people are going to abuse these drugs. And that is what we are calling for. That let's look at that law. It's before Parliament now. So let's look at and amend that section. The next thing we want to do is that we want to know the scope of the problem. So just as we do for HIV and TB, let's begin to screen people in schools, in our clinics, at the OPD. Let's find out. There's a simple way of assessing them. Who is using drugs? Who has tramadol? Who's using other opiates? If we get to know these things, then we can actually plan. And I would suggest there could be a commission like the HIV, the AIDS Commission, under the presidency, because addiction is a disease of young people. So if we don't take care, our young people will not become productive. They will end up just abusing drugs, and then they will not even have any skill or stay in school.
Right.
So the challenge we have is that this is an emerging problem. We have known it all these years. In the US and Canada now, it is an epidemic. I would say the alarming rate we see is an epidemic. But
right,
hey,
it is.
You can't say that
when you have
data.
Statistics, right, to back it.
So so if you don't have that data, we cannot even define that it's even an epidemic.
Right.
And if it's an epidemic, we must adopt the same public health approach we do to any other disease.
Right.
Hypertension, diabetes, the same approach we do. And this is a non-communicable disease, and we should be serious about it.
Certainly. But Dr. Dodori, people are also of the view that maybe then Tramadol, as it's being used and abused now, should move from being illicit drug into the category of illicit. Do you agree with that?
No, I mean, we can't do that. Then otherwise we'll stop even doing surgery because we need all the drugs for anesthesia can be abused as well. And we know of the pop star in America who was abusing, an anesthetic drug.
Right.
So we cannot push every drug that is being abused into illicit. That will not work. And in the 1930s, America saw alcohol as a problem. They banned alcohol.
Right.
It only increased crime. Because people would then go and sell alcohol in the black markets.
Right.
And they will kill people for it. They will bribe people for it. So if we go on that tangent, making everything illicit, illegal, it will only bring about more crime.
Right.
And we have the UNODC, which is the United Nations Office on Drug and Crime. Drug abuse and crime are cousins. They go together.
They go hand in hand.
So if we go with this high-handed approach to stop trafficking, well, it's going to increase crime. We were in Ghana when a certain parliamentarian was arrested for drug trafficking.
Right.
So it's not as if it's only the illicit ones which is a problem. Even though we don't grow cocaine and and heroin here,
it comes
and it's easily available.
It is.
So that supply approach has not been shown to work, and we should be able to take a holistic approach and solve the problem and realize that addiction is a disease. It is no fault of theirs. Some people are born to have addiction. Their brains are defective, and we don't encourage them. But if we make the drug available to them, they get exposed to it. Their brain will not be able to control the drug. So this issue of saying no and all that has not been shown to work in the past. It's not going to work today. Let's see addiction as a disease. Let's treat it both from the supply side and the demand side, and hopefully we can get a better future for our youth.
Certainly, and on that good note of giving us hope that this Tramadol abuse issue can be dealt with, all of us have a role to play from the demand and the supply chain of it. I have been speaking to Dr. Eugene Dodori. He is a member of the Mental Health Authority, and he's also the head of the Ankerville Psychiatric Hospital.